Right, are we being serious here or what? This is an absolute piss take. Manchester United need a striker, right? Who we're linked with? Kim Min-jae. We've got two pretty good centre-halves, but Kim Min-jae and Mason pissing Mount for somewhere in the region of £60 million, boys and girls. If you had to ask me right now, gun to my head, are United going to buy Mount for 60 million? Fuck no, is my answer. Fuck no, is my answer. I'd heard Mason Mount was going to Liverpool, and I go, makes a lot of sense. And I assumed somewhere in the not mental price range, right? I haven't heard otherwise. I'm only going off the reports that are out here, and here's a report. So Nizar Cancelo, which is Chelsea insider for Standard, he says, MUFC target Mason Mount is preparing to say his goodbyes to Chelsea fans at Stamford Bridge on Sunday. United's interest in him is driven by admiration from Ten Hag, who tried to sign him on loan for Ajax after his spell with Vitesse in 2018. Chelsea are ready to sell Mount to ensure they receive a transfer fee and don't risk losing him for free. They could demand over £60 million. They could demand whatever the fuck they want. What they're going to receive is not £60 million. I am sure of this, right? Sure of it. Why aren't they getting £60 million for Mount? Here's the thing, right? Rarely are players moved on from clubs when the club no longer has a use for that player that goes for a big fee. Do you know when people go for big fees? When the club doesn't want to sell them and you have to entice them to sell. Why wouldn't Mason Mount go for a big fee? Because Chelsea have got about 9,000 fucking players in his position, that's why. This is like when United sold Berbatov. How much do we get for Berbatov, Steve? £2 million. When players leave Manchester United, generally, it's because they go on our terms. We had our arse handed to us over the price over David Beckham. That was an absolute disgrace. We got a world record fee for Cristiano Ronaldo. The other ones, when they leave United, it's because they have failed, or it's because at the end of their contracts and we want to move them on because we're trying to upgrade them and they're no longer part of the first team, right? What's going to happen at Chelsea is a fucking fire sale, right? Chelsea can think that they're going to get consummate sort of prices for these sorts of players. And I'm not even started to talk about how good Mason Mount is. I think he's a pretty tidy little player. In all honesty, I'd probably go for fucking Iwobi over Mason Mount, though, at the moment. That's the level he is at this season. This guy cannot get a game for a team that was in a relegation fucking battle. This isn't like... you can get good players from teams that have been in relegation battles, right? Typically. Not ones that don't play, though. If you're a backup to a team that's not fucking played, and I'm not even getting into Neymar, if this is a backup player for a team that's nearly got relegated, what the fuck do I want him for? It's different if you're like the first name on a team sheet and your team happened to get relegated. Roy Keane got relegated. There's still excellent footballers that will be in dogfights at the bottom of the table, but they're not on the bench in the dogfights. Fucking hell. He ain't going for 60 million. Todd Boehly thinks just because he pays fucking crackers money that everyone else will pay crackers money for his players. It don't work like that. When you wanted to bring Enzo here, they didn't want to sell him, or if they were going to sell him, they knew that you were going to pay over the mark for him. The same with Mudryk. They've got a sellable asset. They know he's moving up. It's different when you've got a player that's stagnated, and it's different when you need to move that player off your wage bill. I'll ask you this. Manchester United paid how much for Harry Maguire? How much do you reckon United are getting for Harry Maguire if he goes, which it does seem to be the case. Sausage roll party, 3 o'clock. It does seem to be the case that United are going to move Harry Maguire on. Do you think United are going to get 80 million for Harry Maguire? No, they're not, because no one in their right fucking mind is going to tell you that Harry Maguire is worth £80 million if he ever was in the first place, right? And he wasn't. United are going to have to take a hit on him. Now, they don't really have to take a hit on Mason Mount because he's an academy player and therefore hasn't got a transfer fee associated with him. But if you think you're getting £60 million, you're talking Casado money. You're talking an elite world-class player that's actually done a madness for their team as a central midfielder this year if you're going to spend 60 million. It's only fucking English players that have these crazy figures associated with them. Like how anyone thinks Declan Rice isn't a £60 million player. Declan Rice is a £60 million player. You ain't getting him for £60 million. But is Declan Rice better than Caicedo? No. So why the fuck is he going to go for double the price of Declan Rice? Absolutely. £100 million should get you a player that you're just fucking going, oh my fuck, look at him. Oh, like, that's the sort of shit that you're supposed to do when it's a player that's £100 million fucking pound. Not Declan Rice, who's like a pretty good Premier League fucking midfielder that we don't even know if he can play in a team that's going to dominate the ball yet, because all he's ever done is play for West Ham and England, who all play on the back foot and never really ask him to do the sort of job that's going to be required from a player that wants to be fucking dominating the ball, dominating midfield and getting box to box, creating chances, stopping chances, and doing it with no fucking support around him. It's different to playing in David Moyes' midfield than it is in a good one. £120 million my bollocks for Declan Rice. And £180 million for them two fucking clowns is insane. £180 million would get you a fucking right squad. And you're going to pay that for these two best friends who are like pretty good Premier League players at best. They're not world class. Fuck me. Ridiculous. Anyway, Bojan Popov says, hope not. With FFP breathing down our neck, buying Mason Mount for 60 million is like having a gun with one bullet, surrounded by wolves, and you use a gun to shoot your leg. Maybe. Peter Knight says, I'm sorry, but this doesn't make sense. If it's 80 million, is half our budget. Why? My only thought, maybe Ten Hag knows our new owners will be able, and is starting to spend the Qatari war chest. If you're in a position to spend £60 million on a midfielder, you get Caicedo. Or you get somebody else. Mason Mount for £60 million is... It's just spending money for the sake of it. Andy McKinney there with a super chat. Made me laugh. He says, if Ten Hag brings in Rabiot, Neymar and Mount, my faith in him will be severely tested. Jerry says, I would rather Ward-Prowse over Mount for a much lesser price. FC Fence says, guys, I'm 999,999 pounds short of owning Steve's bollocks. Who can do us a loan? JP Morgan Chase will do you a loan at a fucking eye-watering interest rate that you'll never pay back. Speak to Avram and Joel. Tell them they sent you. Lavia is coming with Mount. Don't worry. I mean, Caicedo is the guy. David says, how would Mount fit within the current squad? Anyway, surely would be a bench player at best. So, do you know what? I'm not even entertaining how he would fit in because I just don't think it's fucking happening. So I'm not going to waste my time. Notch says, funny how English tax applies to everyone except when we move players on. Yeah, it's completely as part of what we were saying earlier. That when you want to bring a player in, when a club doesn't want to let a player go, and you want to bring that player in, and it never seems to apply to us when we're moving on academy products either. You look at what Ryan Brewster went for. Like, we should be selling Williams for 25 million, but we won't. Probably get 2 for him. Jason says, who would pay more than 80 million for another expensive fridge? Are they talking about Rice there or Maguire? Because seriously, like I can see Maguire going to West Ham where he's linked with, and I think he'd be all right at West Ham. I think he would probably suit them, but I think he would be £30 million tops. And even then, I think that's probably lacking imagination from them, because if they went and had a look around Europe, they could find a far better fucking defender than Harry Maguire for £30 million. It's just a complete fucking lack of imagination. Craig says, Chelsea are crippled with FFP, no amortization with Mount because he's an academy product and won't make their Premier League squad. 25 to 35 million max. He's an upgrade on McTominay at the least. He is. SM says, glad I'm the only one who doesn't buy these Mount rumours. Ratchet says, do you think Mount is worth getting? We could buy Maddison for the same price. They're different positions, slightly. Yeah. Thomas says, I agree with you on Harry Maguire. Daz says, tell me how much I don't want Neymar, Steve. Bet you don't get close. Tell me how much I don't want Neymar. I think you would rather, I mean, I don't even know you, but I think you would rather watch your mate eat your last sausage roll when you're starving than have Neymar. Look, I can appreciate Neymar for the footballer that he is, and he is an entertaining footballer. I don't think I'd find it entertaining if he played for us. I think I'd find him fucking really frustrating. I really do. And I don't think the Premier League suits him. And I don't think he is worth the circus. So I would just say, no thank you. Travis says, we could raise up to 200 million with wasted talent. We probably... if we're getting 30 million for Dean Henderson, which is a good price, actually, that's the first time I've seen United linked with a move for someone going the other way, where I've gone, actually, that's a pretty fucking good price. Didn't expect that. I thought we'd get like 12 mil for him, maybe. 30 million is a good price for Dean Henderson. He obviously doesn't want to be here. He's burnt all the fucking bridges. So 30 million, very good price for Manchester United. Crack on. You move him on. You get Harry Maguire for the same sort of ballpark. Fantastic. And then you've got 60 million to be able to bolster signing someone, not fucking Mason Mount, I might add, but signing someone that's going to add something to the first team. It looks like Phil Jones has officially gone, although, like I said, Phil Jones, there was not a lot of information in his message to the fans. Didn't really say where he was going next, didn't say if he was retiring, didn't say if he was going to continue. There was just fucking no information, was there? So I don't know what's going on with that one. Div says United should go for young Leicester players. We can get reasonable deal as they are relegating. I genuinely, for backup, I said, I'd genuinely take Johnny Evans as third or fourth choice centre half. I'd have zero dramas doing that whatsoever, and spend the money elsewhere. Obviously, spend the money on a striker that's gonna, as near as close as you can, guarantee the goals, and wherever else the gaffer thinks we can improve. IQ Insane says, apparently Ten Hag is obsessed with runners, not technical players. What happened to all this possession football talk? That can't be true. There's no way he signed Christian Eriksen if that's the case. Luke, is there anything you know about Caicedo being linked or genuine interest from United? Haven't heard a thing. Have not heard a thing. Wayne says Tillman on a free and Rabiot on the free. I just can't warm to Rabiot. I really can't warm to Rabiot. Tillman, again, I'm a little bit cold on him after the season he's had this year because he fully tossed it off, didn't he? What does that say about his character? So, no, not really excited about that one, to be honest. Alex says, don't Barca have to downsize their squad as well? Barcelona are constantly 5 seconds away from being in a complete and utter financial meltdown. And they're trying, and I think they'll probably be successful in bringing Messi back this year. Why are you doing that? You've got all of the commercial juice out of having Lionel Messi as a Barcelona football player. He will be inextricably linked with Barcelona for his entire life, right, going forward. You don't need to bring him back. He's still a relatively productive player, probably still in the upper end of players. Not the greatest of all time or the greatest currently, but still a pretty productive player that's going to do you bits. But for the unbalancing it's going to do to the squad, for the money it's going to cost you, and the increase on the debt that you're going to get, what possible reason could you have to bring Messi back? This is a heart over head decision. And they've done so many of them over the years that they need to just fucking stop doing it. And they need to think like a fucking business. How are you $1 billion in debt? How are you $1 billion in debt and going to sleep at night? Because did everyone know this? Barcelona directors are technically on the hook for any and all of the club's losses in any given season. Now, they've clearly never brought that in. They've clearly never called those directors in to cover those debts. But technically they can. Can you fucking imagine? I don't know how many directors there are. Let's say there's 8. What's that put it as? Like, £125 million each? How rich are your directors? If they can fucking stomach that. That's insane. Matthew said, is it purely an almost guaranteed title challenge that lets teams like PSG and Juventus groom players into running down their contracts and signing on a free, or is it the promise of silly money? It's both. Because how was Aaron Ramsey on like 450 grand a week about, 5 years ago? 6 years ago? Something like that? Bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. What's my take on Casado? Great player, would love him. Hostad says, look how frustrated we got at Nani. Be way more frustrating having Neymar. Also, thoughts on Everton's Onana, not necessarily to buy, just in general. I like him. He's not the most technical, but I like him. I think he offers something a little bit different. I think he's like Fred with a gym membership. Maybe a little bit better technically than Fred, but it reminds me of a bit like a Fred with a gym membership. Definitely knows his way around the deadlifts. Emmett says, to become Barcelona president, you have to be worth at least 10% of the club just in case it goes south. Oh, fucking hell. Not football related, but who would win in a... Who've I got for McGregor and Chandler? Don't know. McGregor's weird, man, because his peak was arguably several years ago, and he's not been as active as he could or should have been. I don't know. Ian says, Ten Hag abandoning possession football this soon is disappointing. Is he abandoning possession football this soon? I'm not sure if that's the case. Hey Louis says, if Chelsea sell Mount, how do they get away with the homegrown player rule? They have hardly any homegrown players. Only Mount and Reece James come to mind. They've got a lot more homegrown players than that. Still going to watch it though. Yes, obviously. Apparently I'm in the new McGregor documentary, which is a few of you have sent me. I haven't watched it properly yet. Hendrik says, Steve, a lot of the South American football, watch a lot of South American football, and there are some really unbelievable players there, and one of them is Argentinian Alejo Vélez from Rosario, only 19 years old, a baller. Well, let's have a look at him then. ADHD says, if I was to put my money on it right now, who's going to be our next owners next season? Jim Ratcliffe or Jassim or another? Like, I don't know. I genuinely no idea. Genuinely no fucking clue. I think anyone who's telling you that they do know, just chatting shit. Yvonne says, how were you in McGregor's documentary? There's a voiceover of me talking in there, in episode 1. I don't know, they never asked me, so. Bojan says, if Leicester's going down, would I take Ndidi as a backup to Casemiro? Yeah. I mean, there's a few players that have gone off the boil this season. I like Ndidi. I think he could do bits. So, yeah, I probably would do. Wayne says, can you make an all-free video? Yeah, we're going to do that anyway, I think. Yvonne says, seen you had a fight at Copley. Yes, I did. 13 years ago. On takedowns, amateur MMA thing. It was really good, though. I don't know what happened to it, why it cancelled. The plan was to do 2 fights in one day, but that's not a good idea. And I broke my hand anyway after the first one, so I couldn't. Lucky Singh says, Jake Jassim is pushing a bid 5.8 billion. But is he though? They're all under NDAs. So anyone that's leaking this shit can't be someone coming out there and saying that this is the absolute truth. It's all rumour. What's better, Garmin or Whoop? Well, it depends what you're doing, because I have both. I'm not wearing it today, but I normally wear my Garmin. I have a Garmin Tactics Delta, and there's some really cool features on that the Whoop doesn't have, like Pace Pro. So what you can do is, with the Garmin, I can go map out a route with it being Garmin. It's got really good GPS features. I can go map out a route, and then you can set a pace strategy for it. So you can say, look, I want to blast up hills, or I want to go a bit slower on the hills, or really take it easy on the hills, and I'd like it to be either a positive or a negative. The positive and negative thing is, do you want to start slow and get faster, or do you want to start really fast and then like taper off a little bit? So those are the sort of options that you have on there. And then as you're running around, you've got like a dual screen. One is, there's multiple screens you can have. You can have your heart rate on there. You can have your time on there. You can have distance that's gone. But it also has this screen which tells you what your current pace is and whether you're ahead or below your pace, so you can keep sort of adjusting to the right sort of pace, which I find is really, really useful on that. Obviously, it does heart rate and all that sort of stuff as well. Whoop, obviously, Whoop, never take the Whoop off. I've been a member of Whoop for like three and a half years, and I think it's sensational. All of the sleep stuff, the new strength features, We just did a 30-day challenge. We're going to do another one probably in August. So I think, yeah. Ant says, do I know how Whoop handles CrossFit or HIT, as I've yet to find a watch that's any good of it? Yeah, I mean, Whoop and CrossFit are quite close. The only thing I would say is I haven't really figured out what to do with it. I've got the bicep band and some of the Whoop t-shirts I've got like a hole in the side here where you can put the Whoop band. But when I do a home circuit on a Monday at home, obviously, with a kettlebell, and where the kettlebell hits is always on my Whoop, and I don't really like whipping it to the inside. So that's something I need to figure out. You're supposed to wear it all the time, and obviously it's amazing for the sleep, and you do get to see some really cool metrics with it. Did I used to train in Moss Side for MMA? Place was literally Fight Club. No, me and Brendan. The reason me and Brendan are friends is we used to train together. We used to train at a place called Stockport MMA. And then kind of go around wherever. We would do the Y Club in Manchester for wrestling. We'd do strength and conditioning in different places. Like, we would do it all over the place. Matthew says, my brother's a personal trainer. Is it a bit of a piss take to get him a Whoop and leave him stuck with paying for the membership? Yeah, but I would maybe suggest to him that it's a really good idea to get it. IR says, how did they use your voice in episode 1 without your permission? I don't know how they get to do that. I don't know if it's... there are some fair use things in media where you can use stuff if it's for transformative and this, that, and the other, but you're supposed to fucking let people know, really. Or at least just ask for permission. Do I think goalkeepers are protected too much when it comes to fouls? Yes, I would probably say they are, yeah. What's my take on Mason to United? Watch this fucking video. Jamie says, I think the preferred bidder is announced tomorrow. It'll be Qatar 100%. If they announce it after Sunday, it'll be Sir Jim. What's you thinking on that one? Would I trade Martial for Mount if there was no fee involved? Ooh. Don't know about that one, actually. AJ Wright says, if the clip is less than 30 seconds, they can do what they want. That's not true. Doesn't matter the length of like 1 second, 1 frame, or 1 hour. It's still the same. It's still treated as the same. Addy1 says, I've had the Whoop for 4 months now and it's brilliant. Matthew says, don't understand the Mount dislike. He's a good player that would massively improve our midfield. Yeah, but this season is doing less than fucking Iwobi. And he's also... I think people's problem is, if he was getting Mount on 10, 15 million, something like that, I don't think there'd be a massive issue. When it's 60 million, no. Get Battles back on. Where's he at? He's got an holiday this morning. He's gone to Thailand. I think he's there for 2 weeks. DJG says, supposing Qatar buy United, what do I think our transfer budget would be? Could we break 200 million as it restricted by FFP? I need to do a little bit more delving into it to actually find out, like, because I know that there's things you can do, but I don't know if it goes straight into the budget with it. 123 Underclass Hero says, I've been following Steve since full-time Devils after match fan cam. I have not disagreed a single thing he says about football. Wow, really? I mean, you should definitely sometimes disagree. But cheers. There was a fucking question I was going to reply to and I can't find it now. KC says, my Apple Watch just sits as a bedside clock 24/7, $350 well spent. Yeah, I don't really wear mine very much at all now. There's no need for me to. It's nowhere near the Garmin for the stuff it can do or look as good. And it's nowhere near the Whoop because it needs... So the other thing with my Garmin can last 16 days, which is longer than this. It lasts less if you're tracking stuff and like doing runs and that on there. But still, it's a hell of a battery on it, and it's also solar as well. So it's the Tactics Delta Solar is the one that I've got, which means if you're out there in the sun and stuff, it's charging up. Anytime that the sun's on the face of it, it's charging itself up. It's fucking mint. Plans for relegated players? Yes, we're going to do that. There'll be all of those sorts of things. Am I able to link the Garmin that you use? Hang on, let me just find it. All right, one sec. Incoming. Where's my chat gone? If this works, oh, I'm not signed into the chat. Hang on. 2 seconds, Turkish. Darcy Brian Edward, we need to take money now, not in 3 years. She says, do I really think he's worth 40 mil? No. At all. How do I always have a fresh fade on every video? I don't. Have you not seen me for the last couple of weeks? I look fucking homeless. I missed an appointment with my barber, which is why I was only in there yesterday. Bandit bus for Wembley. I think me and Jay are going to drive down. Thoughts on Lindelof this season? Think he's looked really good when he's not played alongside Maguire. Right, there's the link for the watch. In case anyone's interested in it. I promised to take Ronnie to the aquarium. Can we take Ash? It would be hilarious. I don't think it'd be as funny taking Ash as it would be Ronnie. Have I got any news on why Rude left? No, I did see this yesterday. So I believe it's over their investment in the team going forward. And I think they probably said, nah. So he's resigned, which is an interesting power move because that's obviously his club, PSV. So where does he go from here now? Unless he's got something in the pipeline, I don't know where he does. It seems like he's done a pretty good job. So, let's see where he goes out from here, I think. Have I watched Last Kingdom on Netflix or Viking Valhalla? No. What next for Zidane Iqbal? We will see. SM says Scholes did the same thing at Oldham. Yeah, but I don't think Scholes had built up enough in the bank as Rude had. I think Rude had built up a little bit more. How about Spurs being rejected by yet another manager? It's getting fucking drastic for them, isn't it? Dean says Samsung flip phone or Nokia 3310. So yeah, all right. Last night I tweeted. I watched the video which was on the sales of mobile phones from like 98 to like 2010, something like that. And there was a couple of Nokias that I'd never heard of that was doing an absolute madness. And I remember around the first 5 or 6 years of the 2000s, phones took some wacky fucking shapes. Like right now, like this is my iPhone right now. Everybody has got an iPhone or something that looks exactly like a fucking iPhone. But in the early 2000s, phones there was no like sort of defined shape. You used to have some that was like dead thin. You had like square ones. You had ones that were just fucking mad angular shapes, and you had ones that flipped. You had obviously the clamshell types flip phones. They had such a madness to them. And I had one stuck in my head, and I was thinking, oh fucking hell, what is it? And I couldn't figure out what brand it was. I thought it was LG, Samsung LG. Yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense. And then I asked on Twitter, and inside 1 minute, someone got me the answer. It was like, it was this one. I was like, fucking, what was that one? It was the Samsung A300, I think it was. But yeah, madness. Fucking madness. Would I take Mount over Neymar? I would take Mount over Neymar. I had the one with the joystick from Panasonic weird phone. Yeah, there was so many mad ones. And that was prior. So I had a BlackBerry Storm. The fucking glass moved on the screen. It was shit, really, in the grand scheme of things. It was a really dear phone. Prior to getting, I think I got on the iPhone train on the 3G. I think I was on the iPhone 3G, which is like the second or third iPhone. Date Hostad says date you to use it for a week. You mean dare? Dare me to use what? One of those old flip phones? No. Do you know what? Maybe that's an IRL video. I went back to the phone I had in fucking 2002. Am I doing a Wembley meetup? Probably not, if I can be honest with you, mate. Because it's a fucking absolute nightmare. Cup finals. Lucky says Maguire, McTominay, Martial, Weghorst not playing no more. Off to Inter Milan or West Ham. Manchester Maverick says remember the 3 original flip brick, which you could get FaceTime on. I don't think that was the original. Did I ever do Kyokushin karate? Nope. I don't get the negativity around Mount. Is a solid option. The negativity is that he's going to cost you half of our budget. And people are like, what? No, I don't fucking think so. Flip phones are the best when you end in a row. Joe says, what do I think of Onana from Inter Milan? I think he could be a decent option. Ferguson is bailing out at the moment. Which Ferguson? Craig says, one of my mates has the new version of the Motorola Razr, mad looking thing. Is Mount happening? I don't think so. I don't think it is. Ross says, Kekere is decent. Yeah, we did a scout report on him already, I think. Do these links feel like a takeover is done? No, I think, here's what's happening, right? Matches have started slowing down to nearly a game a week rather than the 2 games a week we've had for fucking months and months and months. So they've got to write about stuff. And this is what they're writing about. Best place for breakfast in the city. In Manchester, Coffee Pot or Ezra and Gill. Coffee Pot's just up there for us. It's a pretty good one. It's usually rammed. And mind you, Ezra and Gill is definitely rammed. Ezra and Gill's literally just right around the corner from us on the side there. But both of those are a really good place for a breakfast. Notch says I had a Nokia 3210. It was the most unbreakable phone ever. My eyes are piercing blue. I'm not on anything right. What could I be on that would change the colour of my eyes? I'm on Red Bull and hate. And that's it. My first phone was, I can't even describe it. It was a Nokia own brand phone from about 1998. And then I, after that, had like a BT Cellnet. I tried to Google this last night. Couldn't find the exact model. Like an own brand phone. And then I did have, I think it was a 5110 Nokia. And then I had the 3210 or 3310 like everybody in the world had. I had an 8890 Nokia, which is a metal one, which was a little bit flash. I had a T28i Ericsson, which was really, really like thin and fat, but it had a drop down thing and the thing always used to break on the bottom of it. And then by the time I joined the army, I had a T68i Sony Ericsson. And the camera, listen kids, you fuckers don't know you're born at the moment, because the camera you had to plug in. The camera was like the size of the size of my AirPods, right? The camera was like this big, and you had to plug it in on the bottom of the phone. And it took pictures that you could kind of make out. Oh, is it a beach? Is it a beach? It's a beach, right? Okay, they were fucking shit. Mark says, when did I let my kids have a phone? As a young parent, I'm worried about social media. Jaden had one. His mum got him one. They've had iPads and things for life because you fucking need them, and if you think you don't, you're lying to yourself because you absolutely do. But in terms of a mobile phone, his mum did get him one fairly young. Blake, I don't think I'm going to let her have a phone until she's at high school, so 11, 12. She can watch stuff and play games on an iPad. She doesn't need a mobile phone, as far as I'm concerned. You just don't need a mobile phone. Andrew says, baggy jeans, mullets. Next will be the Walkman. Shane says, good day. Good day. Ion says, I didn't get a phone till I'm 18. I think that's probably a little bit much, but I think D-Miz says, mine's getting one this year from his mum. He's going to be 11. I think 11 or 12 probably be all right. Michael says, I need to do a video on my time in the army and why I left. I've done a couple of those. They're just not named as such. They are easy to find, though. What's my dream summer? Fucking bag the Euro Millions tomorrow and fuck off on a boat and never come back. Oh, not asking for that. All right. Yeah, sign a load of players. Shane says, my daughter was 13 and got catfish, scumbag destroyed her, be careful. Yeah, these are the fucking dodgy ones, aren't they? Fardine says, up to you to take this take, but allow her a phone just before she leaves primary within the last month so she can get all her friends' numbers. Moya says, my daughter and son have a mobile phone but controlled time allowed and what apps they can install or YouTubes they watch. Notch says, I remember phones becoming so in 1999. I saw someone hold one to his ear trying to look cool, and then the phone started ringing. Ant says 20-second reg requirements, HK, G36, fatigues, ration packs, and a Nokia 3210. Right. The army spends, I'm going to assume, billions on telecommunications and is run, or at least was, on fucking WhatsApp groups and mobile phones, which are about as fucking secure as a bag of skips. Yeah. Fucking turn it in. We have a communications problem with the signals debt. Cheers, lads. Ben says I had a Nokia when I was 14 and that got thrown down the stairs, hit a goalpost and put through the washing machine. Yeah, and I'm sure it was fucking fine. Is it true Joel Bayer's on steroids? If it is, he needs to start fucking taking them, doesn't he? David Gardner says Dream Summer, Kim Min Jae, Timbro, Frimpong, De Jong, Osimhen and Rasmus Holland. I mean, fuck me, that is some that is a we just got took over by the Qataris summer, isn't it? I'll be on my yacht. Any update on the car? Yeah, I've been paid out a little bit less than I was hoping for it, and I'm still fucking arguing with them about getting my equipment that was in the back of it sorted. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, I'm wrapping it up here. Hit like, hit subscribe, and we'll see you in a bit. I'll be back after the game. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.